maybe a little
Hey,
less.
Chad,
We'll see.
what do we call you? It's your Hadar what?
Kadar,
It's
Le Poet.
Kadar LaPoet. You obviously don't watch
Yep.
Arnold streams.
Correct.
God, yes. Yeah,
I don't
that's
want
true.
to say it wrong. We're
Yes, it is Kadar.
So technically, Naughty Karate will be introducing Reaver each time. So every time after you talk, you say, then I pass it to Reaver.
Oh, really? Reaver, this guy? Oh. Just kidding. I love you.
Okay. He's
All right.
muted right now, so if he doesn't unmute when you say that, we'll figure it out. But
I was trying to see if I could get him to mute.
You gotta have a degenerate in the group. Come on.
oh, good. We love that. Dylar, do you think it's a good practice to mute when you're not talking, when it's not your turn, to prevent feedback or whatever?
I don't know. I always go. I enable push to talk, so that's not a problem for me.
Mute. The reason I do the mute thing is that it does prevent any kind of overlap, background noise, all that crap. So
Yeah, that's
also,
a good
if
point.
you're not using headphones, then the feedback from be a problem.
and if
That's
I
a good
start,
point.
Or
choke
Beef,
the
were
phone
you
up.
asking me? Was that a polite request? Sorry.
No, it was not a polite request or anything like that. I generally don't mute myself the whole time, but I like the push to talk idea. Anyway, just wondered from a technical standpoint, is it better if we were muting? Not really.
No, because I find that people
Not
don't
really,
come in and then you're doing this hello too much.
Yeah, or if people keep interrupting. Most of us are good. Most of us are pretty good. Okay, Dylar, are you gonna push the button and record this session?
The button's been pushed for 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I better give the introduction. Welcome everyone to the Boba's Alliance Roundtable chat. This is November 16th, 2020, and tonight we decided to set up the roundtable on Hoth in an ice cave. So we sent the Padawans down here with torches and stuff to provide some light. They put the round table in the ice cave, and we set up a few little heaters just by our feet to keep us warm. And we're going to talk in the icy darkness tonight. Icy darkness is surrounding us. However, the firelight from the torches is warm. And as that light shines on the table, I can see before me the people seated at the table. Looks like 1 Dylar, 2 Beef, 3 Naughty Karate, 4 Reaver, 5 Kadar, 6 JD Suzuki has just joined us at the table. And I want to say the table's open. The comment was made that a round table chat, needs to have an agenda or direction. However, lucky for us, it's not that kind of a table. Instead, this is meant to be a place where anybody can join us and speak relatively as equals, whether you're here for fun or whether you're dropping science about the game. That's fine. You want to sing to us and rap to us, whatever you want to do when you have the magic feather. Let's each try to talk for 3 to 5 minutes so that we can kind of keep the discussion moving, and you can introduce a question to the room. You could answer a question that's been asked, or you can make some other kind of comment or just pass the feather on. In any case, we'll take this feather now, and I'll pass it to the first guy at the table. As I do that, I would ask, I want to hear about if your 3v3 GA strategy is going to inform your teams in the upcoming territory war in any way, and if so, how? And I pass the feather first to the first caller on the line, which is Dylar.
Alright, well, I don't think my 3v3 strategy is going to affect my TW at all, because it's totally different. I can get away with using Lando lead at high-end 3v3, but there's no way I'm pulling him up for TW. But I guess there's so much to talk about, and I think the thing that's been foremost on my mind is probably the new raid that's coming up. I'm sure we've all heard about it.
Oh, yeah.
So now, one question that I have, that they said it's going to be separate, but it's just another tier. So I'm assuming when you open up the Rancor raid, you see tiers 1 through 7. Now, is it going to just be the next one on that page? And if so, does that mean that it's separate? That means you have to choose it, and then you're going to get the Relic 8 materials, but you are not going to be able to launch tier 7 and get the Han shards and the gear. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the way they said that they were going to do it is they're going to make a whole different raid. So I think we still will be able to sim the regular Rancor. And they said that they want to bring a raid out that can't solo at the start.
But they keep saying it's just another tier. It's a challenge tier, like your assault battles. Whereas in the assault battles, you have them all laid out.
No, I understand that, but I can't see. Oh, I see. Yeah, I do know what you mean. Maybe they will take us our ability to sim away if we go up that extra step.
Oh, man. Okay, pass the feather to me then, Dylar, because I would say, to answer my own question, yes, I learned stuff in 3v3 that I'm going to try to use in Territory War, for sure. Specifically, I just think in 3v3 on GA that the stuns are more effective than they ought to be, because you're stunning a third of the team. And so on my Territory War strategy, I'm going to try to incorporate more stuns. I think it's simply the strongest mechanic in the game, because it doesn't matter who you bring to the fight. If they're stunned, that's great, because they lose their turn. But on your question about the raid, I get the feeling that they're going to want us to choose between the simming the pit and going into this new mode, and that this new mode then replaces simming the pit, and you probably can't sim the new raid mode, at least not now.
Well, of course you can.
Yeah, of course. And so on those notes, I'll pass the feather to Naughty Karate.
Oh, yay! I muted at the right time. Cool. Yeah, so also, really like this. I remember growing up in the game, we're having the Qui-Gon team, and if you had Rex pulled up, if you had a 7-star Rex, man, take him in with Tebow and stuff, meter reduce that Rancor. Whatever they're scaling this up for, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And it's going to require everyone with GLs throwing everything at the at the task at hand, right? It will not be. I mean, the hat is simmable, but there will probably be a lot of strategy in it. Different people that have built their rosters, whether it's light or dark, on what they went for in GLs, probably have different advantages in different phases. But I'm sure if you think about the fact he is around, how difficult that still is to this day. If they're scaling up the Rancor, it's not going to be a snooze fest, you know. It's going to be an all hands on deck situation, or you just sim it. But since there's new materials that take you to Relic 8, there's going to be a ton of competition. So the people at the top of your guild are going to be going for that, like, what's the word? Hotcakes, gangbusters, whatever it is.
They're gonna sell like hotcakes, I think is the term.
Yeah, hotcakes, thank you. Anyway, turn. You want to speak up, bro? I think I'm done.
Stick a fork in you?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Please.
stick a fork in that there hot cake?
I gotta eat. Can you talk for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got something a little bit out in left field here, and this is just the cutest. Okay, so you know how in GAC some people like to message other guys? Well, this one feller went up against a Galactic Leader Ray, and he says, "I'm not surprised that I seen it, but I'm surprised I cleared." And so the guy jumps in the room and he says, "Yeah, how was it you beat Ray?" And so the gay original poster says, in quotes, "Ray, you can't beat me. I'm Ray. You can't beat me. Free to play. Vader, lightsaber go vroom vroom." I loved it. I just thought it was the best comment ever.
That's good.
3v3, it's I agree with the stuns, but you would almost think, and I believe it was Beef too who brought up the stuns. You would almost think that it would bring back the old stun meta and the dodge meta, like Qui-Gon and Royal Guard. You know, you throw some massage in there, maybe some Daka, but we've never seen that come back. And I'm actually, to tell you the truth, I mean, a lot of the old school OG players will remember the team. I am actually surprised it hasn't come back, because it was a good meta that literally has never ever been revisited. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to, I'm going to call you Cad, buddy, because I hate the feather's yours, Cad.
We had a conversation right at the start about how to pronounce my name. You've already forgotten it.
Courtois Le Plat.
Oh my god, that's just gonna be a running joke. No, how do you mispronounce Kadar's name? How ridiculous can we get? That's the joke.
Well, I can get as there's literally no limit to how ridiculous I can be.
Oh, I'm aware.
I shorten everybody's name, so that's my bad. Anyways, my time's up. Off to you, Ken.
Well, in regards to the Rancor raid, I'm not so sure it's just going to be like an extra tier, because the road ahead states, and I quote, the challenge tier will be a separate event from the old Rancor, which tells me that it's not going to be just like tier 8 of the current Rancor raid. It's going to be a separate thing you click on. So so it's going to be 4 raids now instead of 3. That's how I'm interpreting their road ahead post on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hope
Really?
so. I hope
I
that's
did.
what it's
I
like.
didn't understand that.
That's good. If you're right, that's great.
That's
That
exactly.
means we get another sim of the old one every time it comes around. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I had mentioned what I did earlier, because that's exactly how I had seen it too, Kadaro. Better?
Yeah. And in regards to 3v3, I don't think 3v3 influences who you place in territory war so much as it influences, or rather educates you, who is more crucial in a squad, because you only have 3 spots to pick. So more often than not, you're thinking about, okay, what's the core of the squad? What makes or breaks the squad? And then what's the extra pieces that flesh it out even further? But with 3v3, you need that core. You always look for the core greatness that you can get in a single 3v3 match. Like for Gas, for example, like which 2 clones do you want with Gas to make him a very good 3v3 5-1st defense squad? I know not everybody might place him on defense. I certainly do, and it's very fun to watch my opponent panic over that. But it's just one of those things you have to think about. But I don't think it has too much bearing on how you will place things in territory war and such. But it does still encourage a level of critical thinking in terms of how you're gonna play out your matches in 3v3. It can be annoying as all heck, but it is quite a brain teaser at times as well.
To JD Suzuki when you're done, Kadar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got to say. So I will indeed pass it to JD.
Hey, so I think with the Rancor, I kind of got the impression it was just gonna be completely different event. So I think like we'll still be able to sim the Rancor like normal. And since they said like a new event, because I don't remember them ever mentioning like tickets for it, so I'm wondering if it's just gonna be like a weekly thing or something like that. And then as far as the 3v3, like I don't really see that affecting the TW, because I already have my 5v5 counters, and yeah, I don't really see that really affecting territory war too much. Dailar?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm actually kind of scared for Rancor raid coming out. Just specifically for our guild, Naughty, you can probably think of it is that it's gonna require all hands on deck through all 4 phases.
Yep.
And we know how difficult that's gonna be. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But I don't. I want to do it and I want to beat it. I'm just concerned about participation at this point. Because it's been so long since, it only takes one person that wants to solo the Sith raid for us to do all, and one person to solo the tank raid for all of us to get rewards in all the raids. A new raid means full participation again.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because if we're going to be chasing people non-stop, new raids always shake up guilds. They do.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's going to shake up and acquire things from the bottom of the roster that very few people have as well. Some sort of secret team that's going to make it work. Very few people have. But it will be all hands on deck, I agree.
So if Dylar passes the feather to Beefed, I feel like I dropped a question already and then answered it. So don't have much to say on this go round except in response to what you guys had said. I think the new Rancor raid, I think CG is going to intentionally design it to have the highest sliced mods, the ones that we don't have enough material for yet. And so they're going to try to tune the raid higher than Lightside Geonosis. That's just my thought. Hopefully there will be a trick to beat it, but it won't be turn meter removal, because that worked with the old Rancor raid, and that gimmick is not dead. That gimmick is fantastic in 3v3. Turn meter removal is alive and well in the meta. So even though those things like Rex were so vital in that one phase of the Rancor raid, I find that actually the old meta is not dead, that it's still underlying, and if you can use it to your advantage, you can really rip some stuff apart in the 3v3 and in the other PvP content in the game. If you really have a mastery on how to use the dodge meta, the stun meta, and that turn meter removal, man, you can tear some teams apart. So anyway, call Rex to assist. And I'll pass the feather to Naughty Karate.
Oh, wait, what? What's the question now?
You can make up your own one. I
proposed a question and asked one, so I didn't have anything to add except my one little comment that turn meter removal is great, even though it's not going to work to kill the new raid. But I'm happy to hear that the new raid is its own event, whatever that means. And
yes, I agree. I did not understand that concept, that it will be new event. I don't know if it's going to show up like those, once per weekend events where you get the new mod materials or something. So it might be something like that. But in fact, if you're in a good guild that all works together, I guess the fact of all hands on deck is not a bad idea, If you're in a guild of lazy wills, might be less effective, but yeah.
Who are you gonna relic 8 first, Naughty? Since that's a reward.
Yeah, I'm really not excited about Relic 8. I have to say that. Relic 7 as a whole. How many do I have? I have like 6 or 7. And as of about 2.5 hours ago, look at Relic 7. But I mean, my horde is done. And I don't really spin on this game for the last 2 years. And I'm just thinking like, okay, what's next? Well, I got this guy. Hopefully he's good.
But if, as they say, that the rewards for the raid is what you're gonna need, like the mats from the rewards, you will get the mats. So having the mats,
yes.
Who are you gonna relic?
First, I don't know. It's too early to call. I have no idea.
And
That's an excellent question. I agree we should pass the feather on that question.
Yeah. Does anyone have an idea? Do you have an idea on that, Taylor?
Lightsaber goes vroom vroom.
well, there's a couple little conundrums that come with that. So I hear not a lot of people. I hear some people say they're going to do their ship pilots first. But to that I say, when was the last time in Arena that you did a negotiator mirror match, right? Like it used to be when negotiator mirror match was the thing, it was the fastest GK one, right? But
there's
now
no advantage boosting ships.
No, because you're just
everything beats everything.
Yeah, you can use ships to beat other ships. It doesn't really matter. Yes, speed is important, but like if your GK is 1 speed faster than mine, my Malevolence at 5-star can still kill you. I'm sure at 7-star Relic 7, he's still going to be able to kill you. So I think that the GLs are going to be probably the first priorities, and then you're going to need to do your existing R7s that can counter SLKRs and Rays, because if you think, if Relic 8 SLKR, if one thing goes wrong in your Ray, if one thing goes wrong in your Ray counter, you're screwed. So what is R8 Ray going to do to the Vader counter? So you may have to R7 your Vader. You may have to R8. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to do my GLs first, then I'm just going to do like my Luke, my Gas, my Vader. Just pick away at it, because I think that CG.
Actually, Dylar, I just realized all GLs are pilot. None of them have ships.
Nope, none of them are ships. But then think of this too. What is Relics gonna do to the non-crewed ships? Because their power isn't ever gonna scale.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, my strategy is really different on that. The first character that I'm gonna take to Relic 8 is the best and most important character in the Star Wars universe, R2-D2. And I
Please tell me that's a joke.
I mean, it's my favorite character. I gotta say, always loved R2-D2. I think the story is really about R2.
6 movies.
Yeah, at least 6 movies are really kind of centered around R2-D2's
and he's
story.
very much in the Clone Wars. He's a center. Yeah. R7.
So I have R2's Relic 7 now, and I'll tell you, wherever I put him, he's extremely formidable. And the reason to take him to Relic 8 is because he extends his stats to the rest of the team. And
how do you have him modded?
Oh, I'll look it up and I'll tell you next time the feather comes back to me, because I don't have it memorized, but I'll tell you it's like number crunch. I read his number crunch ability as like he shares his speed, offense, health, and protection.
10%
I think
of all of it. Yeah.
So I checked those as the secondaries, and I found all the mods that have those the best, and that's how he's modded. So he's really insanely modded, not the way most people do, but he's just meant to be a huge number crunch machine, and it's really effective. It's incredibly great, especially in 3v3 where he's undiluted. Because remember when R2 was king of Arena for a minute there, he can mess up your whole team because you can't see anybody, you're on fire, and you're stunned. And that's even better when there's only 3 of you to contend with him. So he's really a ferocious little fellow, and that's who I'm taking to Relegate first, for sure.
Yeah, he's totally, I would agree with that. Actually, Beefed, one of my favorite teams, this is when 3v3 first came out. Not many people had it, but you do Old Ben lead with 3PO and R2. And R2 basically is your attacker, slot him for offense. And then Old Ben is just dodging all day long. It doesn't work that well these days. Still place it on defense just because I have it, unless I have another plan to use R2. But now that he's Relic 7, it's a formidable team, you know?
It is. So let's hear the same question from Reaver then.
Well, as I had said, I'm a dark side guy. I don't have a GL yet. So lightsaber goes vroom vroom. Mine's probably going to be Vader, just because the new rework to him has made him so potent. I don't know. I do have.
Yeah, he's an MVP.
Yeah, good choice.
I do have a question for the room though. So someone had mentioned gas and the clones in 3v3.
Yep.
I don't use any clones with my gas in 3v. Save them for attack. But I use Shock T on defense with Arc and Sarge. Leaves me Rex, Fives, and Echo. So I actually use Snips and Grandmaster Yoda with my gas in 3v3. Because it's
On
kind
offense or defense?
yeah, offense. It's kind of the best of both worlds. Because gas taunts, you have
What do you attack with it?
anything. Gas.
Say the
Because
team
Ahsoka
again. It's
gives him the taunt. I see what you're saying.
Yep. Ahsoka gives on, and then Grandmaster Yoda with all his little extra moves, Snips is in there assist.
So what's your GG killer team?
My GG killer team?
Like, what do you kill GG B1, B2 with?
Usually Darth Revan.
I use Padme
That's
for
interesting.
that. I think GG is less effective defense off personally.
So speaking of gas, so did anyone see the Keyaway video that Gas, Ahsoka, and Echo takes down the Bastila Jedi Master Luke and Watt
What?
team?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that in Arnold's stream today.
Yes. Yep, it does. That's the counter.
Could you repeat that one time? Who takes down what now?
So, like, even in my third battle when I went up against the Maw guy, he still two-shot my Bastila Jedi Master Luke and Watt. Like, right? That's usually, like, the GOAT. That's how it's done. I know that there's, like, the Thrawn, CLS, and 3PO, but if you're not modded right when you lock in, or you can time out. But Gas, Ahsoka Tano, Padawan, and Echo will take down that team. You're going to be left with just Gas standing, it's basically going to be like SLKR versus Rey, where you're going to get 47 banners, but you're going to take it down.
Wow. That's
So,
It's the max
So-
health reduction, right?
yeah, I just saw that like an hour before we logged on here. So did he use that in his stream, Kadar?
No, he showed a video. He had Echo on defense, so what he ended up doing was Gas, JKR, and Han try to take out Watt, but it didn't work out for him because he couldn't get Watt out before the tank tech got off to Luke.
if it's a tanky Watt, that's a hard goal.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
Yeah,
problem,
that's what a lot of people are
and
doing.
the problem with you so he was doing the Jedi Knight Revan lead.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen that where if someone has a really, really fast Watt, you may not beat it out of the gate with the Jedi Knight Revan team too. So I don't know if I'd want to rely on
Mhm.
that.
I think I would want to take something with synergy against a team like that. But, okay, if the question was once upon a time, who are you going to take to Relic 8 first? So far, everybody on the table has answered except for Kadar and JD Suzuki and Dylar. So next is Kadar. Who are you going to take to Relic 8 first and why?
Depending on when it shows up, or rather when I get enough materials for Relegate, it's either going to be Kylo Ren or Sith the Eternal Emperor. But I'm probably going to hold off for the moment of actually making a decision, because one thing I think we all need to consider is every time there's been like a new level of gear or power level introduced, such as with the original G13 and then Relics now, Relegate specifically, I'm wondering if Relegate is going to be a much more significant rise in power and stats as opposed to Relic 6 to Relic 7. Like, I think they probably know they could introduce something special with Relic 8 because it seems to be
a
that
huge speed increase, not just like blanket stats, right? There
yeah,
could be
we
some-
don't.
I agree with you. It'll be something big. It's gonna be.
It'll
worth
beat the light side Geonosis battles 4 of 4 if you had everyone Relic 8.
No, it'll get you 3 out of 4 on phase 4 of Light Side Geonosis. That's
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
They want Light Side Geonosis to last for a while. It's only been a year, if I remember correctly. Like, we're only just seeing our first 7-star Kiadi Mundis out there. Like, they got another year before that is made like a cakewalk. Like, another 6 months, Dark Side Geonosis, it's going to be cakewalk for lots of guilds at that point.
You
But
think
let's say
6 months it'll be a cakewalk? Oh,
No, Dark Side.
Man,
Nutty.
no way.
Dark Side.
Okay.
Dark Side Nutty.
So let's say that your interest in Gear 8 is to beat Geonosis. Now who would you do first, Kadar?
If it was, are we talking Light Side Geonosis specifically or Dark Side?
Go give both.
Dark Side, well, there's a lot more effective guys on Dark Side. Probably still SLKR or Scythian Lumber because they both do work on Dark Side. Light Side, I've got 10 Light Side relics right now. Like I've only got enough relics for a Gas team and a Padme team on Light Side Geonosis. But by the time Relic Game will come around, I'm hoping to at least have Jedi Knight Luke, so maybe I'll relegate JKL, if not JML.
I think he's the better. Yes, I would recommend that.
Yeah, because JML.
Which
JML
one, Jedi Luke or Master Luke?
Master, in my
Jedi,
opinion.
well, Jedi both, but you need one before the other. Both
Yeah, you
are
do.
at R7 are super valuable. They're great.
Yeah, it's just it'll take me another like 8 months at least to get decent light side people. Because I put so much effort into Dark Side outside of my Gas and Padme teams.
So this new, I understand where you're coming from. This was a snooze for me. People are asking me when I look at SLKR. I'm like, I don't know, maybe in like 8 months.
Yeah,
Like,
I will
almost
confess.
my investment in lights. So
I will confess.
What about? Oh, you got a confession? Okay.
Yeah, I will confess, like, if they do sell some R8 mats, yeah, I'm probably gonna buy some. Like, giving myself that early edge. Oh, who would they go to? If they sell them right away, I would probably just
sell them. I think we have to like
yeah, but who knows if they're gonna do any sort of pay-to-win thing with that. I hope they don't, but if they do, it's still going to go to one of my Dark Side Legends, because there'll be more. There's no way I have my Light Side stuff ready for Relegate before the Rancor raid comes out. At least that's my thought process on it.
If you look at just
so
Good
it-
answer.
Galactic
I know
Legends,
it's too early to call, but which one to pick? I'm just curious.
Oh,
Well,
your favorite?
that's why it's a pointed question. But let's point it at JD Suzuki.
yeah, look
We
into
wanna know,
JD.
who are you gonna
Yeah,
put
okay,
on Relic
JD.
8? And you don't have anything Relic 7.
Yeah, I don't have a Relic 7 at this point, so I don't really see me getting a Relic 8 anytime soon. But I would imagine, like, if I were to go for a Relic 8, it would probably be like a Jedi Knight Luke or Gas or Vader or something like that. And then, yeah, I would say, like, if you have a Galactic Legend, though, like, you're probably going to do that first. Unless they do, like, I know they talked about, like, Relic abilities right when Relics came out, so if they come out with Relic abilities with Relic 8, like, depending on what the abilities are, you might want to go for different characters like that, if they do that.
Point.
Yeah, I guess
How
that's
about,
all I got. So, Dylar?
After you, it's Dylar. Yep.
well, I don't want to be the one driving the ship. Otherwise, I would just say let's talk about where Moff Gideon's going to fit in the game. Will it be an Empire
Oh
tag?
yeah, you're driving the ship, dude. Let's talk.
Well, are they going to, like, so is he still Empire? I know or is he Empire Remnant? Because in the post, they said he leads a remnant to the Empire. So are we looking at a whole new tag? Or do people think he's just going to be Empire
is
Trooper?
Ahsoka Tano a Jedi?
No,
Version is not, unfortunately.
no, she's not.
So maybe he won't be. Empire needs a. Empire does need a
They don't have.
so.
They would have to introduce a lot of characters to make a whole new tag. So I doubt they give them a specific remnant tag for now.
I would agree. I
No.
think he will be Empire.
Not necessarily though, guys, because I mean they did it with the 501st. Okay, they brought out the 501st. They gave us Arc Trooper, which is basically the only new character besides Gas, and then they just threw that tag at all the clones in Ahsoka. So they
So that was a rework.
they could technically give us an Empire Remnant team by giving us a few.
Empire Remnants?
That's a good idea, and they
Oh.
could bring back like the little Mandalorian they were trying to push, and that other Empire guy. the obscure Empire guys that nobody invested in, and they could give him that tag.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like the Werner Herzog guy.
yeah,
In the
Gar
first-
Saxon.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good in certain situations, but
His ship
yeah,
is better.
they could do
Empire
something with
Remnant.
that. I don't have
Actually,
an
that's
answer
a
to
good-
that question. I pass the feather straight over to Naughty Karate. I don't know. That's a great question about Moff Gideon. He should have an Empire tag, but just like Reaver interjected, he might not. He might have an Empire Remnant kind of tag, and they could just hit up a couple other characters, especially the ones that nobody has invested in, because they love to do that. I pass
Well,
to
let's be
Naughty
honest
Karate.
here. We're all just throwing dark here. But I really like Reaver's suggestion is that, and I do think that there will be something coming from the Mando series, which is like, I don't know why it's so much more well received by Star Wars fans than any of the movies are. But that show is great.
It's because it was
Like, I
written by
still look forward
fanboys.
to it.
That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah, Dave Filoni, he is a fan. He knows how to write it, right? So I would fully expect that because this game is intertwined in that whole relationship under the Disney umbrella, that there is going to be an amazing Mando faction team that will come up as well, and there might be a new faction that's Scandal, and there may actually maybe be tag or something like that. I don't know. Since we're all throwing shots in the dark here, I do think that the game will evolve in a way that will be more fun, because personally I've been disappointed since Galactic Legends came out. It just seems like this insane power creep. However, counters have evolved. Vader got his rework, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So keep up with it, pay attention, watch Dylar's videos.
Yeah, like
Don't feel like a dummy anymore.
Troopers can beat
Okay, I
C
passed-
easy enough, and Vader beats Rey, and Vader beats SLKR, and Jedi's beat SLKR.
In 3v3
and-
though?
No, but
Vader
Yeah.
beats SLK? Really?
watch some Zero.
I've seen it.
videos.
I'm gonna have to watch a video on that because I would love to beat one of them in arena.
Check out Dylar's.
So, yeah, Reaver, since you got the feather, you can ask a question to the table like that. Like, how do you beat SLKR with Vader?
Well, that is, I can go look that up instead of having everybody,
No. This is important
I
to
have a-
digest because it's very simple. Blame.
Well,
it really is.
I actually have a better question though, because I would like to hear the room's idea on this. Okay, I'm going to touch on the Empire remnants. If you think about the lineup that we have, there's really only about 3 or 4 characters that would fit, mainly in the Stormtrooper faction. Can't use Death Trooper because that's before. You
Mhm.
could use Magma and Stormtrooper.
Oh, like it.
You can't use Pimp Trooper because he's from Nest. And that's before as well. So, I mean, you could probably use Moff Tarkin because he's a Moff. I don't know, that would be a tough one. But the room.
Oh my God, Tarkin could come back.
Well, they're
I
good.
love where your mind.
If the question I do have for the room, though, still deals with the Mandalorian, it's why don't we have the Razor Crest?
Yeah, that's
The ship.
He deserves a ship. Anyone does, sure.
I mean,
That's a great question. Let's pass it to Kadar.
it's
Go
a little
on.
bit. It's a little bit
Reaver's not done.
because we all know that our fleets are sorely lacking. I mean, we have 3 resistance troops. We have 4
Dale,
True.
man.
4 first order, whatever the heck it is. I mean, we don't have enough bounty hunters, so why not the Razor Crest? And would you guys be excited if it was in there? Okay, now I'll hand it off.
Alright.
Yes, I would be excited.
All right. Well, to answer the Razor Quest question, oh my God, I will pay for that. Oh God, I gotta stop spending money. That's okay. I have some money at least. Going back to the original question about Moff Gideon, I don't think he's gonna go with Remnant tag. My theory is one that Arnold has as well. If we look at the picture of Moff Gideon, that was put on the road ahead. He's flanked by Death Troopers and Imperial Stormtroopers. What my question is, because the Death Troopers were close with Moff Gideon, I'm wondering if both those units are going to get a rework that helps them synergize with Moff Gideon as well as their original synergies. So on that premise, I think he's going to get just the straight Empire tag. Also, quick question: does anybody remember when the Battle of Jakku took place? Because that was like a real big downfall for the Empire after the Return of the Jedi. When did that take place?
It was like 6 months after Episode 6.
Oh, okay. Well,
damn, Jella, you're on the money.
Well,
yeah. I'm glad somebody's got lore, but for all we know, like obviously the Battle of Jakku has been treated as like the real big downfall for the Empire before the First Order came to power 30 years later. For all we know, like I do know some things about what's going to happen later on because I have seen a toy leak, but I won't talk about that because that's unaired content so far. But
what? Wait.
He said there was a toy leak.
No,
so
yeah,
spoilers, no spoilers.
there's a new toy and it could leak.
Is
which
that a
way
League
it's
of
gonna go.
Toys? I don't know what that means. I'm
So-
sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good. I'll explain without spoiling things. I forget the name of the group, but what's the name of the group that does like the Black Series toys and stuff?
Force Effects, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. There was an image that was released from one of the as a backing for one of their figures that hasn't come out yet. I don't know what the figure is, and I'm not going to say what the image is, but it does give a sort of idea as to the state of things that we might see later on in The Mandalorian. And this is just me guessing at this point, based on what I saw. But it could very well be that the Empire wasn't as crushed as we believed they were to be during the Battle of Jakku. So, like, yes, technically, like, he could be defined as Imperial Remnant, but I think it's exceptionally likely that he's just going to be given a straight Empire tag because they're treating the Empire as it's still alive, it's still functioning, it's still around, it still has power. That's what Moff Gideon seems to be treated as.
Well, actually, weren't all those destroyers that were where the showdown with Rey and the Emperor and Kylo was? Were those already built? The Empire?
Right. So you're talking about the Star Destroyers with the super lasers on the belly, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the way I remember it was during Operation Cinder. Operation Cinder had two parts, one of which was exceptionally more classified than the rest. So what most people know as Operation Cinder is it was Palpatine basically punishing worlds for failing to protect him, and that would also cause havoc for the rest of the galaxy. They would have to assess this and deal with it. But a large faction of the Empire were given coordinates to go into the unknown regions. From what I remember, we now know these coordinates to have been Exegol. And then from there, two parts of it split off. One part became the First Order, and one part became the Final Order. So the whole time during Operation Cinder was going on, the two parts went to the unknown regions, the part that was going for the First Order, and then the part that started constructing these new super laser Star Destroyers that we saw in Episode 9. I don't remember if that's all entirely accurate, but I believe it's mostly accurate.
Can you imagine how many engineers and people it would require to, like, split all those resources?
Yeah, did they all have
30
to have
years
a
as well.
Sith Wayfinder? I mean,
I believe Palpatine just gave them the coordinates, because Palpatine had the Wayfinders for God knows how long. We know there was one on Mustafar, and we know there was one on the Death Star, so Palpatine had these contingency plans in place. I mean, Palpatine, but at least by legend standards, he was certainly not the most powerful Sith, but he was a very conniving and scheming Sith, right up there with Emperor Vitiate.
yeah, and to think he's from Naboo. It's a red hot feather right now. We've got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
You want to take the same question to JD Suzuki?
Yeah,
What
there's a
was
bunch of
the-
questions, but JD, answer what you see fit about Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the rest was.
Razorcraft.
Kind of lost track of what we were talking about.
Razor Crest.
Where you talk about what?
Oh yeah, so yeah, the Razor Crest. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet to see that in the game. As far as Moth Gideon, I don't know. I think Kadar covered it pretty well. Like, I think I agree with Kadar in that he'll probably just get the Empire tag. He'll probably like synergize better with certain characters in the Empire faction, but I don't think we're gonna get a different tag for him. Yeah, I don't remember what any of the other questions were, so I'll just pass it on.
You have any closing thoughts? We'll probably pass it around one more time. You have a last
you
question?
can just pass it to Dylar.
Oh, I guess
Razor Crest.
You know, going back
Tyler's always got something to say.
Well, yeah, dude. You know, like I was thinking, you said that Death Trooper can't be Imperial Remnant if they're going to do that. They can, because we have the Sith and Sith Empire tags on the same characters, so he could have Empire and Sith and Empire Remnant tag if they decide to make it.
Okay,
that's a good point.
The only reason that I said that, and I could be way off here, but I don't ever remember seeing a Death Trooper during any of the original Star Wars stuff, and honestly, they've just started filtering out since they come out with Krennic. Am I wrong about that?
Well, Krennic, we
no,
first saw it
you're
in
not
Rogue
wrong
One.
about that.
We saw it in Rogue One. Then we saw it in Rebels, where they were Thrawn's bodyguards, and now it's Moff Gideon's bodyguards. So they're putting them in there more and more. Like, I think, you know, the fact that we've had to relic Krennic for C, just kind of out of the blue, like why Krennic? I think Krennic and
Because
Death
nobody
Trooper,
had him.
But you think Krennic and Death Trooper have their Zetas that are synergistic. I think that maybe they're going to go under a Moff Gideon team, or Gideon's going to go under a Krennic
Oh wow,
team.
you mean those Zetas will be worth investing? Oh wow,
Oh,
I did that a
no.
long time ago. That's
We can
great to
hope.
hear. Yeah,
Just
they're
spitballing.
not good Zetas right now, but they might be under Gideon lead. I like that idea, man.
It's a good idea.
I actually have one for you, Dylar, that you can comment on, since we're only going to pass it again. And we're into the Empire. Thoughts on Admiral Piet?
He's awesome. I love him. I wish I had him.
Pretty awesome.
Mine's only at 4-star. I'm farming him, but it's going to be forever. He's great with under a Vader lead. He's great with the Imperial Troopers. Like I said, the Imperial Trooper team with Veer's lead, Piet, Stark, Death Trooper, and Range Trooper kills Sith Empire Trooper for 60 banners.
Does that apply to a 4-star if you have both his Zetas?
No.
Is a 4-star battle worthy?
I don't know. I haven't seen any video with someone using a 4-star Piet in that sense. I don't know if it
What?
could be done.
How
I
about the
don't
team
think you can't do
composition
that.
underneath? Team composition under Vader. What team are you putting with that?
Be Vader, Watt, Piet, Shore Trooper, and X. Treya, IPD. Take a pick.
Well, I'm going to be quiet and take notes. I don't have as much on the dark side as you guys. I've mostly invested in Jedis and Rebels, so it's very interesting to hear.
Depending on the comp, like the Rey comp you're trying to beat, you can sometimes run Piet lead and then Vader under Piet. Like you can put him in so many different
For
places.
a lead, you can do that?
Yep. But he's
Really?
either gonna go with Vader because in his kit he has Vader synergies, or you're gonna run him with Troopers because under Troopers, every time they take a turn and they get a stack of that buff, that basically is what gives your Troopers unlimited turn meter. Because every time they take a turn, they're also bumping up their turn meter because they're getting that unique buff from Piet.
Oh, so they don't even need to kill someone to get the turn meter train.
Nope.
That's really interesting.
Now,
And they
does
are-
Piet
yeah.
have to be in the leader slot to accomplish this?
No, because it's passive.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
reading.
Veer
It's
slot.
you Vader lead. This is a Vader lead.
No, this is
team.
the
If they-
Veer's
Right.
team I'm talking about.
Especially on,
Oh, Veer's team.
because every time that your Empire takes an attack out of turn or gets their first turn, they get another stack of whatever the heck it is. And so if you put them with Pimp Trooper, then all of a sudden, all those counters, you're getting stacks rack up crazy.
Yep.
Isn't that the idea, Tyler?
That is it. That's why Pimp Trooper is in my favorites and Snow Trooper is not.
That makes me sad.
Snow Trooper used to be great. Make Snow Trooper great again.
Well,
Yeah.
Snow Trooper's still good, but now because of Piet and how we've learned to use that team, Range Trooper just brings more to the table.
Can I throw something out there?
Shoot.
You think Range Trooper? Okay, I understand Range Trooper. Well, you would mention Death Trooper. Now,
Yep.
I'm a big Trooper fan, but I have never, ever, ever put Death Trooper on my Trooper team because I don't think he fits there.
He
To be
does,
quite honest.
just because the Death Mark, you need Death Mark to get through C, and Death Mark is just an unbelievable ability that is gonna do more than your other troopers are gonna bring to the table.
It's similar to Mark from Jedi Knight Revan. I mean, Jedi Knight Revan, you wouldn't think of him as the best Jedi in the lore or like essential to a team of the greatest Jedi that ever existed, but he has that Mark ability, and so he brings a lot.
But it's better
He's
because
also arguably the most valuable legendary tune that has come out since Jedi Master Luke came out.
plus Death Trooper.
I mean, he's so essential.
His
Ray too. He's
Yeah.
so essential.
Death Trooper's grenades
Well,
increases
now
cooldowns. He just does a lot.
The round table has been really
Jesus
good. I liked having
Savior-
a round table on
Savior
Hoth.
thing.
And I don't mind that it kind of denigrates or whatever towards the end, that it just sort of becomes a bit of a wild free-for-all. The after hours sessions on this roundtable have similarly been more of just a free-for-all, which is also quite interesting and nice. But because the time is running out in the hourglass and the wine's running low, let's go around the circle one more time and everybody can have their final questions, thoughts, observations about life, reality, and the world. And since I have the feather now, I'll give mine at Beef, which is just to say thanks for coming. We're going to try to have another round table next week, but one of these times I won't be here, and that's fine. You can still have it without me. No sweat. The idea is that anybody can come to discuss topics. It's more about picking a time, setting the table, putting out that nice red and white checkered tablecloth that you seem to like so well. And so I appreciate everybody tossing in their 2 cents about the game. What makes this game more interesting and worth playing for me is the community and the people who are in it. So I just want to say thank you to people who've taken part in this in the past and who may take part in the future. And have a happy Thanksgiving. If I don't see you before that, I'll pass the feather to Naughty Karate.
Oh yeah, Beef. Thanks, brother. I apologize in advance and in the future if I interrupt you. Yeah, but really, I have to add a +2 to your statements about it's all about the community. You know? Sometimes we theory craft, sometimes we pretend we're each other's therapists. It's a great community.
Any other closing thoughts?
Not really. No, I feel complete. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Reaver, what you got, bro?
Well, I just want to say that nobody's noticed the Wampa sitting in the corner who's been drooling the entire time we've been having this discussion. I'm actually surprised he's as well-mannered as he has been, but he's looking a little hungry. I'd like to say a huge thanks to Bobas. And this is all of you guys. As
It's everybody. It is.
the community is what makes it, and this place is awesome. Got a lot of great guilds, got a lot of great people doing stuff like this to try and help the community as much as or as little as we do. But yeah, it's fun getting together, and I'd like to thank you guys for allowing me at this round table. And excuse me while I sit over farthest from the Wampa. And I'm sorry, Naughty, but I'm putting you closest, man. I think you're going to stagger the most of all of us running out of here.
I'm gonna stagger the most.
Have a good night, and I'm going to hand the They're off to Darlapoa.
Thank you very much, Reaver. In regards to the Wampa, I just want to say, don't worry. I found this dirty blonde-haired dude in the snow. He was looking a little delirious, so I sort of stuck him up upside down. He's keeping the Wampa distracted for the moment. If he cuts the Wampa's arm off later, just don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
Is the dirty blonde guy upside down?
Yeah, I stuck him upside down in the ice, and his feet are frozen to the ceiling.
Good job. Okay, thanks, man. Sorry.
Yeah. So in closing remarks, best thing I could think to say is hoard your relic mats if you're not spending them right now, because who knows just how much other relic material you're gonna need outside of the relegate stuff. I don't want to spend 20 Zimbiddles to get that relegate, but I think we're gonna have to. Yikes. And with that, I'm going to sign off for the night. You guys have a good one. May the force be with you all. Don't feed the Wampa.
All right.
Yeah. So
JD.
thanks you guys for setting this all up. It's a good time, and may the force be with you.
Anyways, Dylar, last shots.
Well, now that it's winter, I'm just gonna say don't eat yellow snow.
All right.
Oh,
well, with
man.
that,
I didn't
let's-
provide a closing statement. I feel totally. How am I going to follow that?
well, you don't have to, because I think we're about to push the button, and so we're no longer transmitting, and then this will just be a casual conversation between whatever's left of the chat.
Hey, it was a great time, everybody. I'm happy to be here.